Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks Live. What is it, Tuesday the 28th? I'm running a little late today, probably about 40 minutes late it looks like. But I'm here now. I apologize for my tardiness. I actually am pretty stickler about being on time, so it's difficult for me to be running late. Doesn't make me real happy. God's Warrior, what's up, dude? Glad to see you here, man. Glad you could make it. I was thinking today about the justice system actually here in the United States, and just how corrupt that is, right? Our justice system is really horrible, and it was set up to be something good. Fox in a Shed, howdy. What's up, Fox in a Shed? Glad to see ya. But yeah, and I really from the justice system, right? The whole thing, the punishment, the sentencing, everything is just, it's really twisted and corrupt because of money. Once you realize that most prisons in the United States are privately owned, okay, and that's just the beginning of the corruption. Arnis, what's up, dude? Glad to see you here, man. But learning that the prisons are privately owned, that was an eye-opening moment for me, akin to learning that the Federal Reserve was privately owned. Because you think about these institutions like this, and you think, government and stuff like that. You don't think of privately run businesses for profit, okay? And these prisons, they're actually they'll build a prison, but they'll have the state sign a contract, or the county or whatever government facility they're with sign a contract guaranteeing to keep the prison at 95% capacity. And once you let that sink in, you realize that if the citizens don't commit enough crimes, well, then the state is still obligated to arrest them by contract, by law, arrest them and put them in prison. They can't get out of it. The state can get sued. So, and that's so crooked, it's really hard to wrap your mind around. Crypto Billy, what's up? Glad you could make it, man. Glad to see you here. But yeah, and I really honestly think that the solution to that, and the solution to controlling crime, it would kill two birds with one stone. We wouldn't have to pay our taxpayer dollars to keep criminals locked up for decades, number one, and it would deter crime. Something, my thing here. We should just make punishments short and very public and very harsh, okay? Just like they did back in the old days, Shannon, Metal Gear, good evening, y'all. I apologize for my lateness, everyone, but I did finally get back here and got her online. E-Fog, old man, what's up? Glad to see y'all. But yeah, I had this idea where because in my opinion, almost now, not every single case, but almost everyone deserves a second chance, But when you see these judges releasing people who have been convicted of 14 violent crimes, and then they go off, they get off on that 14th one, they get released again back, and they finally end up killing a family of 4 or something. It's ridiculous. We get to that point where we're ridiculous. Our society is ridiculous. Our justice system is ridiculous. And so, but everybody deserves a chance, a second chance, but a third, a fourth, a fifth, a 15th chance. Now we're getting to where these people, something needs to be done. All right. But if you punish someone, and give them a first chance, and let the punishment fit the crime. If you get convicted of domestic assault, you get dragged out in public and let some dudes beat your ass. You know what I mean? 3 or 4 big dudes, pound your ass into the pavement. Whatever. And I also thought about what if you just put a bright orange collar on people, and those people with the collars, right? There would be no crime if you enacted it against them. You would have no repercussions, right? So if a guy got convicted of his 4th or 5th violent felony, that you put a collar on his ass, and then the world would know that he was just free game. You know what I'm saying? If the victims wanted to do something with him, they could do it without any repercussions. Whatever they determined was was justifiable for the crime he committed. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But we definitely need a better sort of justice and punishment system, something that deters crime. Yeah, kick me sign. Yeah. Something that deters crime and doesn't cost the taxpayers money for decades. You know what I mean? What are we doing? Why do we have these private businesses making billions of dollars for keeping these people, locked up for decades? I mean, what's the point in that? I don't get this whole, taking away people's freedom. And again, I'm a big proponent of freedom. I don't get that, taking away decades of someone's life over over some crime, especially if it's a victimless crime, right? If there was no victim involved. And it is not uncommon here in America for someone to get convicted of some petty, meaningless bullshit, Yeah, peer justice, yeah. Yeah, Crypto Billy, you're absolutely right. It's economic slavery. If you're rich and you can afford the right lawyers, you can get away with just about anything. And the poor people who can't afford a lawyer at all, they can get convicted of just about anything, no matter what no matter what kind of evidence is presented or anything like that. That is meaningless. Okay, completely meaningless. If they want to convict you, they can just convict you, regardless of any evidence or all that lawyer speak, circumstantial, or all this shit. They would just throw your ass away, and it's done every day. I'm not just up here crying for poor people because I'm poor. I'm saying that's just a fact. Poor people are put in prison for decades every day for petty shit. NC Douglas, what's up, Douglas? Glad to see ya. Yeah, glad you could make it. But and it's the richer you are, the more shit you can get away with, I mean, when's the last time you saw a millionaire or a multimillionaire or a billionaire, convicted of anything? Are they so just angelic people that they don't do any bad stuff? Is that what it is? Maybe that's it. Jeff 7. Good evening, Jeff 7. Jennifer Andrews. Hola. Yeah, greed. Yeah, you're right, old man. It's greed, and it's about power and greed and control. Oh, not much. Just got in late today. Didn't even have time to fully change through a. Oh, y'all like my shirt? Hanker for a hunk of cheese. I don't know if y'all can see it. That's one of my favorite shirts. I love that. That old what was that public announcement or whatever they used to play a commercial or whatever during Saturday morning cartoons. Hanker for a hunk of cheese. But yeah, and these judges, they're so power hungry, and they'll convict people over and over these rulings and stuff, and these precedents that aren't even actual laws. All these laws are just made up. They just go on how previous judges have ruled on certain shit, right? When they aren't actual laws. Then we get into the victimless crimes, the laws against, shit where nobody's harmed at all. I've got a real bone to pick with that stuff. The only actual true laws that we have here in the United States is the Constitution of the United States. Those are the only inviolable laws that where no one can break, right? No one, you're not even supposed to bend them or tweak them a little bit. Those are written in stone. Everything else is just shit people have made up over time. I think it's, just for public safety, everyone should wear a seatbelt. Well, what if they don't wear a seatbelt? Well, we just get a couple $100 from them, Hey, catch them without a seatbelt, then they just owe us a couple $100. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. And here in Florida, it was prevalent for a long time that law enforcement officers were given a quota, right? I don't know what the number was, say 30 tickets. They had to write 30 tickets a month. So, officers were writing tickets, bogus tickets. You weren't speeding. You just happened to be, at the wrong place at the wrong time, but your ass got a ticket. You know what I mean? Because that officer had to make his quota. Everybody knew back then. Now they've pretty much stopped that. They've made it so, these police offices, the county sheriffs and stuff, they're not allowed to impose those quotas on officers now. So that's kind of gone away. But not too long ago, within the last decade or so, in the last couple of days of the month, everybody in Florida knew that was ticket time, because these officers, they needed to, if they only had 20 tickets throughout the month and it's the 31st, I got to write 10 tickets today. But I don't have a choice. I have to write 10 tickets today. I got to pull 10 of these fools over and write them tickets. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew that. It's the end of the month. So your ass is rolling the dice by, driving to work. You know what I'm saying? And that's just bullshit. Yeah. Oh yeah. This whole government shutdown stuff. That's total bullshit, Jennifer. The thing that I have, we can talk about all kinds of directions why this government shutdown is bullshit. Okay, let's start with the most obvious thing. Why is our government acting like like some kind of 20-year-old kid and living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, why is it that if they don't sign this month or this quarter, whatever they do, it's once a year, twice a year, whatever, that budget, then they can't pay the bills next month. They're out of cash. They're done. They've already blew it all. Why don't they have an account to pay the active military, to pay their checks? These people are putting their lives on the line. Why don't they have an account to pay SNAP benefits or whatever, to pay Medicaid or whatever for 6 months, a year? So give themselves a buffer, a time to work shit out so that the people don't suffer. Okay? They must have an account like that to pay senators and congressmen and shit, right? So all the politicians get paid, but the people that are actually paying into the kitty don't get paid. We don't get any of that. It's all shut down. Oh no, y'all can't have any of it. No, y'all, I know it was yours to begin with. I know you're the one that put it in the kitty, but you can't take it back out. We take it back out. We can have it, so that blows my mind. You know what I'm saying? Why is our government run on a paycheck to paycheck basis? As soon as one paycheck is spent, they're broke. We're broke. What do you want me to say? We're broke. So, that blows my mind. The other major question I have, and this is kind of aimed at Trump. No, it is aimed at Trump. Maybe not, because I don't know where the money goes or whatever. But he keeps claiming that he's taken in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. He's said it many times. Where is that money? Mountain Old Timer, what's up? What's up? And now to clarify, I voted for Trump 3 times. So I'm not an anti-Trumper. I'm not one of these rhinos or whatever. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I thought Trump was a good idea for the country, and I voted for him and I supported him. Okay, but that does not mean I'm not going to question the dude. That does not mean I don't have questions about some of the shit he does. So, and my question today is, where the hell is all that tariff money? Hundreds of billions of dollars coming into, the government coffers, but we're broke. We're so broke that we cannot pay our active duty military personnel their checks. We're so broke that, we can't provide SNAP benefits to the people who are on SNAP. We're so broke that we can't investigate these benefits to make sure that the people who are on SNAP deserve to have SNAP. That we don't have foreigners coming in and doctors and whatever else, driving Mercedes-Benz and Rolls-Royces and shit from Pakistan or India or wherever, and they're on SNAP. They're getting SNAP benefits. This kind of shit should not happen. But we don't have any money to do all those investigations. We don't have any money to fund the FDA to actually investigate, our food, and our medication and shit like that. We don't have the money for that kind of shit. We're always so broke, right? We can't afford to do anything that actually helps the people. You know this, that every time they cry broke and they don't have the money, we just don't have the funding to have a well-staffed, well-run FDA. So we have to let the pharmaceutical industry and the food industry pretty much police themselves, because we don't have any money. We just don't have the funds. Right? That's what we're always told. But we can, we've got plenty of funds for Patriot missiles for, to supply Ukraine with. We can send pallets, literally pallets of cash to Iran. we can, fund all kinds of wars and shit and transgender ideology across the world. We got billions and billions of dollars for that shit. But if Jennifer or God's Warrior or Metal Gear Solid or myself, if we need assistance after paying into this system for decades, oh yeah, no, we're broke. You just make a little bit too much money, literally $5 too much. You're just right over the line. So no, you don't get any assistance. And yeah, that's our country. That's the world we live in. Yeah. Yeah, kickback Saturday morning shows and Atari, yeah. Yeah. Get by with my friends, yeah. Yeah, Argentina, yeah, probably. But, and it's just sickening to watch this shit. Hey, underground. Yeah, that's yeah, you're right, Jennifer. Yeah, and the only thing is that it's our money that's being tossed around like this. But when you see people who actually need it, then the country's broke. When we need to fund something that is good for us, then they're too broke to do it all the time. Ednad, what's up? What's up, Ed? Glad to see you here, man. Glad you could make it. I mean, I'd honestly rather see them just buy, like 700 billion tons of bubble gum or some shit like that. At least then there would be something. You know what I mean? What the hell? Just pissing it away, just throwing it into the ether. That sucks. Yeah, veterans benefits. Veterans should be at the top of the list of the people who deserve the funding and get aid. Raziel, what's up, dude? Glad to see you here. Oh, all right. Trying to break your high scored on Centipede Metal. All right. I was reading some trivia on that game. Not Asteroid. Space Invaders. You know how the enemy ships would come down and go back and forth like that, and then you had a ship at the bottom with like the rocks or something in the way, and when you'd shoot, if you hit a rock, it would chip part of it away and the rocks would disappear. But then as you killed the Space Invaders, they would come down faster and faster. Y'all remember that? But I was reading an article, like a little trivia article about that game, and that the Space Invaders speeding up like that wasn't programmed into the game. It was just with all those Space Invaders, all those graphical, spaceships on there. It bottlenecked the processor. The processor it just couldn't move those things very fast while it was trying to display them on the screen. So as you got rid of them, it freed up processing power, and it was able to move them faster and faster. So that's what you call a glitch, an unintended glitch, but it became part of the system. And now you wouldn't want to play Space Invaders without that. If when they do make replicas of Space Invaders, they have to program that behavior in. You know what I mean? Laura Ann, hi Laura Ann. Glad you could make it. Yeah, we gotta respect our veterans, dude. Oh yeah. Yep, I would say that, Jennifer, that America is the greatest country on the planet because of the people. our government is one of the worst governments on the planet. And that's what people get confused, right? They think of America, United States, and our government is that representation. That's what they see. That's what they think of when they think of the United States, is that government, that system. And when I think of the United States, I think of y'all. I think of, my countrymen. So, think of our veterans and our neighbors and the people, who've paid taxes, for the last 30 years and who struggled to raise children and, gone through so much to try to keep this country great. That's the country, not those morons up there on Capitol Hill. They don't represent us, not truly, but they do to the world. The world thinks so they might as well, there are representatives to the rest of the world. So the rest of the world thinks that's us, thinks that's America, that institution, and they couldn't be further from the truth. Oh, all right, Razio. Well, I was running late too, dude. So you're all right. You're cool, dude. I was running late today too, or this evening. Oh, hell yeah, Shannon. Yeah, y'all pay more than your share of taxes. I believe that. New York and California, I think, are the two highest taxed states in the country. Yeah, Missile Command, that was a good one too. Wasn't Missile Command the one with the ball though, where you rolled the ball? Metal Gear? That just popped into my mind when I read that Missile Command. I remembered that ball. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game. Yeah, they've got all kinds of cool emulators out there now. For I want to get. It's like $300 or $400 though. Damn it, I can't afford it yet. But I want to get a the video game they have now, the cabinet. It's got like 500 games on it. Pac-Man and asteroids and all that stuff, and they've got the whole layout of different buttons so you can play everything. Yeah, I want to get that and put it in here, somewhere, and just kind of have it part of my background. But I could play it. That's the thing. When I'm not making videos, I can play video games. Yeah, exactly, Raziel. Yep. When I was in Korea, even back in the early 90s, the Koreans thought that we were all rich. I'm a private in the army. I didn't have shit. You know what I'm saying? But they all thought I was rich. Like in America, they pictured America like one big episode of Miami Vice. Yeah, they thought that's what it was all about. Everybody ran around with those suits on and shit, and driving whatever Ferraris. We were all rich. That's what the world thinks of us. They think we're rich, busting our ass 40, 50, 60 hours a week just to pay the bills, and they think we're just living it up. We're over here just, land of milk and honey and shit. And it's insane to see that stuff. Yeah, I believe so too. We've got a minority of people, not I'm not talking about like a minority like the normal, like race or anything like that. I'm just talking about there's a minority group of people who are very loud with all that anti-American shit, and they are supported online with bots and AI placeholders and stuff to make that group seem a lot bigger than it actually is. You know what I mean? At one point, I heard that like 80% of the accounts on Twitter were bots at one time. I don't know if Elon Musk has cleaned that up, but yeah, like 80% of the accounts were bots. So you've got an 80% chance of getting in an argument with a bot when you were on Twitter at one time. Like I said, I don't know. It's probably that statistic doesn't hold up now since Elon Musk took over. I would guess that it does not. But yeah. Oh yeah, Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots. Yeah, you're talking my language, God's warrior. Yeah, yeah. Now, I mean, shit. My average week all summer long was about 60, between 60 and 70 hours. Uh, long, hard, and all of us over here in the United States, we work hard for what little bit we can scratch together. But the world thinks we're rich. You go down to, I don't care where you go, Nicaragua, Mexico, Vietnam, wherever, and ask them, and they'll tell you, with a straight face that we're rich. We just got it all. It's this, and that's why they pour over here, thinking they can get a slice of this pie, and they get a free ride. That's the shitty part of it. They get a free ride. Oh, Metallica. Yeah, Metallica back in the day. Yeah, Master of Puppets and shit, dude. Yeah, that was awesome. Metal Gear. Yeah, Metal Gear. Southern Rock. Yeah, Laura Ann. Yeah, I like old time Southern Rock. Alabama. I can still listen to that shit. Yeah. Um, that was more country music though. Leonard Skinner. Who else was? That would be Southern Rock, right? I remember when what? Yeah, there was a song there when Leonard Skinner and somebody else were like having a battle. They were talking shit about each other in their songs. Um, Something about you never get a Southern boy to vote like that or something like that. I forget, but I forget how the song goes now. Yeah, the American dream is different for everyone. Yeah, that's the truth, Lauren. We all have our picture of the American dream, but I think it. Well, that depends on age and generation too, right? Kid Rock, yeah, I like Kid Rock. Stevie Ray Vaughan, yep, yep. The American dream to me is, I mean, always has been just to own a piece of land, and just my own house and have a few animals outside and a nice garden, and just to own a piece of the world that's just mine that I can protect and defend. That's pretty much the American dream to me. But they've killed that with property taxes because you don't own that shit. If whatever, if you get hurt and you can't work for a few months or whatever, a year or whatever, and you get down on your luck, then they'll just take your shit. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so yeah, the American dream. It's kind of a Sweet Home Alabama. Yeah, yeah, that's the one. Creedence Clearwater Revival. Yep. Janis Joplin. Yeah, Song of the South. Yeah, Lorianne. Yeah. Oh, ZZ Top. Yeah, Jennifer. We can't forget about ZZ Top. Did y'all hear when it was like late 80s, early 90s, something like that? When Gillette, I think it was Gillette offered them some like astronomical amount of money, like $10 million to shave their beards. Maybe it was a million. I don't know. It was a big number. Back then, a million was 10 million now, so maybe it was a million. But yeah, they offered ZZ Top uh, a million or more dollars to shave their beard, and ZZ Top told them, no, we don't. We're not doing that shit. Yeah. Neil Diamond. Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Mountain. Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember they had, I mean, it's common thing now. These they battle with each other and shit. But back then, it was kind of unheard of. They'd never done that before. But I remember Leonard Skinner got into it with somebody, and they were making songs and talking to each other with their songs. Yeah, that was like the first time that it ever happened. Yeah, and my dream too is that to I just want to have enough. I don't need all kinds of free time. You know, I don't want to sit down and play video games for 14 hours a day or any of that dumb shit. But the work I do, I want it to be for myself. You know, I want, if I go out and spend 12 hours out there building something, I want it to be on my property. Yeah, I want it to be a barn or a chicken house or something like that. I want to, spend my time working on for my shit. Also, I would just like to have enough leisure time to kind of, like, I don't know, enlighten myself. Become more enlightened and more knowledgeable, and to learn more spiritual, just grow in that kind of direction in the last, 20, 30 years of my life here. I'd like to spend more time in that because I have not spent enough time, in the first 54 years of my life. I haven't had the time to really devote to that aspect of myself, and I would just like to have enough leisure time to do that. That would be part of my dream. But I have a very simple dream, just a little bit of leisure time, and my efforts be for me. But I mean, and to own my own stuff. Not a lot of stuff. I don't need, a yacht with 14 diesel engines in it and shit. Nope. I don't need that. I don't really want that, to be honest. That would seem like that would be a headache. And I wouldn't want to deal with the people who had to run the yacht and shit. No, I'd rather just have a little bass boat or something out on a lake, and just go out there and cast by myself, but yeah, I've got a pretty simple American dream, but even simple ones like mine are hard to attain when they're taxing the shit out of you. Yeah, Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, I like Bruce Springsteen's earlier songs. I don't much agree with anything he has to say nowadays, but I cannot deny the fact that I dug his songs back. He was patriotic back then, and it was awesome. I liked Bruce Springsteen back in the day. He's one of those celebrities that I really liked back in the day, and then he's went off the rails with his personal views and shit. Like I liked Stephen King. I read everything he wrote, but now I despise that dude. I can't stand that damn dude. Yeah. Yeah, Raziel, exactly. I mean, when I talk about land, I'm talking about like between 5 and 10 acres, something enough to do something with, enough to keep a few animals and a few outbuildings, and maybe even have a small pond on it or something. Nothing outrageous, but yeah, more than an acre is basically a lot. Maybe more than a lot, and what is a basic lot? Like a quarter acre? But still, an acre is not very big, not really big enough to do much on it. Oh, okay. your, your speech to text isn't working, Loran. You must be lisping. Rule Cuba. Yeah, that's one thing I saw. I saw a really cool meme, and it showed a map of Haiti, Cuba, and Florida, and it said, "Why on earth? Why would all these Haitians pass up a socialist heaven like Cuba, which is only 300 miles away, and shoot for Florida, the despicable democratic constitutional republic of Florida that's 3,000 miles away." You know what I mean? Why if socialism is so wonderful, why aren't they mobbing into Cuba? Cuba's socialist. Why aren't they taking their rafts to Cuba if socialism is so great? And that makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Why the hell do they pass Cuba if socialism is such a wonderful thing? Why are these people flooding non-socialist countries? Why the hell are they fleeing socialist countries to non-socialist countries? And all these people in these so-called free countries, democratic countries, they're always touting the wonders of socialism. It doesn't make a bit of damn sense. Canoes are awesome, yeah. John boats. Yeah. I think Arnis would be a fair dictator for Cuba. Yeah, we should Gen X should move to Cuba and just elect Arnis as dictator. Oh, okay. I've never been to Cuba. I've been to Korea and Canada. Those are the only two countries, 2 times I've been outside the United States. Yeah, shit's going downhill. Muskogee land. Hey, what's up, dude? You snuck in here on me. Yeah, having land is, I think most people want their own place. We all have different versions of that same American dream. Some people want a big mansion. Some people, want a castle. Some people want an island like Cuba. Some people, probably want to live in a volcano. Some people might want to live in a castle. But I think, having your own private sanctuary, I think that is probably a pretty common, at least one part of the dream. Having your own land. And but now the rest of it, some people want to be celebrities, they want to be movie stars, rock stars, doctors, lawyers, whatever. Some people want to do other things. But I think along with that, most people, I would say, would want their own piece of land, You leaving for Santa Fe in 4 days? All right. That's awesome. That's awesome, Muskogee. Yeah, I hope you love it there, dude. I hope you have a blast. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, making a living on that land is hard. Johnny Cash, yeah, Mountain Warrior. Or Mountain Old Timer. Oh, God's Warrior said that first? Alright, yeah, Johnny Cash. We can't forget the man in black, yeah. Children of the Corn. 10 acres is kind of small there. Yeah, there are parts of the country where 10 acres is small. But, I mean, 10 acres is quite a bit to take care of by yourself, you know. I mean, unless it's mostly woodland, but if you want to take care of it, if it's fenced and stuff, that's quite a bit of fence to take care of yourself, especially if you have animals constantly messing it up, you know. But that would probably be the upper limit for me. That's all I would want, because I'm got a pretty good judge of 10 acres. I think if I doubled that, 20 acres, that would just be too much. I really wouldn't want to just have to have that hassle of taking care of 20 acres. 10 acres would be a lot, you know, because of the things I would want to do on the land. I would want, I would need fencing and all this other stuff. And maybe if like I said, if most of it was just forest or something, that would be okay. If I had 10 acres and then another 10 acres beside it, it was just forest, but I could hunt in or something, or fish in or whatever, that would be great. But I would only want to have to take care of 10 at the most. Oh, okay, so most of it is wooded, yeah, okay. Yeah, 1 acre, it just depends on what you want to do with it, or what your needs are and stuff. That's the great thing about land. There's so much you can do. Hell, you can just have 9 acres of woods if that's your thing. That's awesome. That's fantastic. If you want to clear it and raise some animals and do that, then you can do that. That's the beautiful thing about having land. You can do whatever you want, Yeah, keep the woods for privacy. Wood, rock, and metal. Yeah. 200 plus. 200 acres. Yeah, well, like I said, yeah, you just wouldn't want to have to take care of all that fence, dude. It would take you all day to ride, a quarter of that fence. You'd be riding fence, 40 hours a week, just fixing fence and shit with 200 acres. That's a lot. But yeah, there is, if I was just ignorant rich, literally ignorant rich, then I would go for something like that. And then I just cut out 10 acres for me in the middle, and just get a bunch of high fence with the concertina wire, the razor wire around it, and fill it with Doberman pinchers and shit. The mailman would the mailman would have to watch his shit, make sure I locked the gate on my way in last time, or his ass would be dog food. So yeah, no, I get that. I get that whole 200 acre thing for privacy. Yeah, so your next door neighbor, I just want to go out and be able to pee in my backyard and nobody even be able to see me or know anything about it. I don't want to live somewhere close enough to anybody that that they might call the cops on me for that. Yeah, that's crazy. Or if I want to, sight my gun in the backyard, nobody would even hear it. Nobody's close enough to even know that I was out there, target practicing or whatever, zeroing in my scope. So, yeah. Oh, that's awesome, God's Warrior. Yeah, half acre, 1950. Yeah, that's back when they were still building houses for real. Oh, you have your own chickens? Oh, that's cool, Shannon. Yeah. You got to watch my video and make you some pickled eggs. I love fresh eggs. Yeah. They keep forever and they just taste so much better and they're so much more nutritious. Yeah. Oh, all right, Muskogee. Yeah, New Mexico. I heard that you can buy land pretty reasonably priced land in New Mexico. I've heard that before. Oh, all right. Yeah. Oh, okay. You just have a dirt driveway and pull some shrubs over. No one would even know you're there, huh? Oh, Arnis leaving us. All right, Arnis. Goodbye, buddy. Thanks for dropping by, man. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. 1950 house. Yeah. I've demoed though. You know, people buy a house like that and then they want to remodel it and update it and all that shit, and have me go in and knock out uh, the backsplash, the old backsplash, so that they can have a new updated backsplash. And so that's some of the hardest work I've ever done, is try to tear into one of those old houses. I'm telling you, yeah. I mean, brutal work, brutal. Just getting the backsplash off the wall. Yeah, there's no way of, if I was in a fear for my life hurricane, I'd want that shit built in the 50s. I would not want some of this new shit all up to code and all this crap. Hell no. Hell no. Because I've built them to code in my recent life, building new houses, and they're garbage. I don't know what else to tell you. Them codes are worthless. That's just a way for the government to get our money, Or you gotta pay $150 inspection fee. And so then the inspector comes out and passes it, and it's dog shit. It's up to code now. But a hurricane does not give a shit about that code. A hurricane just cares if there's enough nails in there and the boards are strong enough to hold your shit together around you. That's all the hurricane. The hurricane's not going to come by and stop by the county office and check the codes. Oh, yeah, that one's up to code. I'm not going to mess with that one. Oh, there's one. That one's not up to code. Yeah, that's not how hurricanes think. So yeah, them codes are bullshit. I just can't even. Yeah, exactly, Jeff 7. That's what I'm talking about. The lathing and the plaster and shit. That's what I had to tear out of there. And it's a backsplash, between the cabinet, the countertop and the cabinet, like 18 inches tall. And then it was, the length in the kitchen, probably 10, 12 feet. And dude, it was a day's hard work. Not just a day's, work whittling and polishing and shit. No, a day's back-breaking work getting that shit out of there. Yeah. Oh, there's a creek that runs through your property? That's nice. Yeah. Yeah, Raziel. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you can't even use thumbtacks in the walls because the bitches just bend. Yeah. So, if some kind of event happened, your shit's made right. Yeah, your shit's sturdy. It's going to protect you. Yeah, having running water on your land is priceless. Yeah, Loran. Yeah, not only to, in a survival situation, but just in your sense of comfort, your security in the future. You have running water on your land. So, that's one major problem solved right there. That's awesome. Oh, okay. Yeah, Colorado's sketchy. Yeah. $70 an acre. That's bad as shit. That's awesome. Yep. Yeah, underground, yeah, 100-year-old house, still solid as hell. Now, these Cracker Jack boxes we're throwing up here in Central Florida, they're all to code, but come check with me in 100 years and see where they're at. That house that Raziel's talking about will be 200 years old. It will outlive all these ones we're it'll be around. That thing will probably last 300 years with proper maintenance, 400 or 500. Who knows? But this shit we're building now, that shit'll be gone. I'm telling you. I know the materials we're using. It'll be gone in 100 years. There's no way. They'll have to demolish that bitch and build a new one. Crusader Survivor, what's up? Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. Live in a building beside a huge park that then joins a forest. That's awesome. Yeah, Mac MC in the house. Yeah, oak. Holy shit. Yeah, dude. Mac MC, all oak studs. That does not happen today. You can't even. No, you don't do that. That does not happen. Oak studs. You know what I mean? Not only do we have the Douglas fir and shit, we don't even have real pine anymore, like the solid yellow pine. We don't even have the good pine anymore. We got the cheap, like light, fluffy fir studs now. They're really cheap and they're light as hell. You could throw one like a spear. They're just garbage. Oak studs. Yeah. Number one, that shit would just cost an enormous amount of money. It would cost you $50,000 in lumber just to build a house like that. An average sized house, a decently sized house nowadays. But yeah, that would be awesome, dude. Yeah, I bet you don't worry too much in that house. Worry too much about it falling apart. Oh, okay. Yeah, but if you Shannon, your water's well water, but if anything happened, like the power went down or something, unless you have a hand pump, now you could still use your well, but at least you have a source of clean water, depending on what happened, but right there close. At least a source of water. You wouldn't depend on the rain or whatever. You wouldn't have to be running around looking for it. You go right to the creek, get your water and bring it back, boil it, whatever you needed to do to purify it. Oh, cedar shake siding. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, okay. Nebraska? Yeah. Good well country. Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, those old houses are just made far superior materials. The build quality, I mean, just being honest, I've been on there with them many times. These contractors now, they hire illegal immigrants, pay them absolute shit wages, and they drive them to build the house as fast as humanly possible. All right, so they can collect their money. They're trying to make money. But when you drive someone to build a house as fast as possible, and you start out with people who think you're just rich, we're all just rich. It doesn't matter if these rich, spoiled bastards, I don't care about their house. That's literally how they think. So they're building our houses, and they think we're rich as hell, and they don't give a shit, and they're driven to build the house as fast as humanly possible. So the craftsmanship is dog shit. You start out with dog shit materials, you have dog shit craftsmanship, and your house is dog shit. I mean, it will look fine in the beginning. It will look fine. It'll look like a brand new house. I mean, shiny, and it'll look awesome for 3 to 5 years. But you're looking 10 years down the road, and you're screwed. It's gonna start falling apart. But most people, they have a house like that, and before the 10 years is up, they'll sell it. They sell it to someone else. Someone else will buy it. And as soon as someone else buys it, then they start having problems, and that's just the way it is now. But back in the day, we had actual American craftsmen building with good materials. And That's just a fact, and the proof is in the pudding, because these 100-year-old houses are still standing. Oh, okay. That's a good thing too, Shannon. A 200-gallon holding tank. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because you have a solid house, Laura Ann. Starlink can't even get through that bitch. Yeah. Pre-ham radio chat room. Yeah. Yeah, when the shit hits the fan, we'll be doing this on ham radios. I keep seeing an advertisement to get your ham radio license or whatever. I need to check into that when I get more time. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Raziel. Yeah, that does not surprise me. Now nothing pops like a cap gun. It doesn't get cold enough down here in Florida, but that does not surprise me at all. Those new houses are, I mean, they're just dog shit. AF, what's going on, AF? Glad you made it. Oh, it wasn't Japanese precision. Yeah. Blue agave meat. I thought agave was a damn plant. I gave up drinking for good. Now, zombie Mr. Hurst drinks for evil. That's a good damn plan, dude. Oh, okay. CB is all you got. Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be cool. You never know when we might need it. If we all had ham radios, because if I understand correctly, those things can reach quite a ways. Oh, all right. Yeah. Farm pond full of fish. Hell yeah. Muskogee. Yeah, that's what we need. Something that we know will last 100 years and weather some storms, and some cold winters. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, an extra water well is always, anything extra, especially something like a well. If one goes down, then you still have water. Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of idiots on the road nowadays. Oh, cool. Yeah, form. But I see those things underground. That shit fascinates me. The cool ways that they're building now. I don't know what the ones are, but they look like they're styrofoam, and they've already got the steel built into them. In the hollow part, they got the steel running through them, but they're just like Legos. You just put them together like Legos, and they're styrofoam. And then you come and you pump the whole thing full of concrete, and the styrofoam is the insulation. That seems cool as hell. Now, if you put the steel in it right, and it's just a solid concrete pour, that thing would be strong as hell, as long as it's good concrete. You know, not some cheap shit. You'd have to, you'd want to get decent concrete, a decent, PSI grade and all that. But if you did that right, that shit would last forever. Then you could brick it and keep the insulation factor. If you bricked it, would be astronomical. It would just be unreal. It just your body heat would keep it warm in there, and then the sun couldn't touch the damn thing as long as the roof was insulated. The ceiling, the attic was insulated well enough. But yeah, some of that new technology is really interesting underground. That shit fascinates me. Yeah, I started late, dude. Yeah, that's my fault. I just got home late, and just threw my shirt on and jumped in here and got on board, but I didn't get started until like 20 till 8. So hell, I don't even know. Well, we've already been on for over an hour, so I'll call it quits here, and we'll go for a little while longer before I call it quits. But well, yeah, that some of that new technology is really cool looking, and they are even 3D printing houses now with concrete. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, windmill. That's pretty cool. I like any of that. Here's the thing with me. All of that sustainable energy shit, I think that shit is awesome. But for the opposite reason that all of the whatever the climate, drum beaters claim for, I don't think that all that solar and wind and all that shit is good to save the planet. I think it's good for freedom, to unchain ourselves from the electric companies and all these, the gas companies and all this shit. The anything that gives you more freedom, I love the idea of that shit. I wish all of us could have, windmills and solar panels and stuff, and raise our own food, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anything that would get us unchained from the institutions and the corporations that are trying to take over the damn world. So yeah, I'm all for all that green shit, but not because it's green, because it's free. It offers freedom to us, and that's why it's been so long in the coming. But they're trying to figure out how to give us solar power and charge us for it, how to charge us for the sun power on a regular, recurring basis, how to charge you a monthly fee for what the sun gives you for free. Oh yeah, hazelnuts. I love, yeah, all that kind of cool stuff. I think I love trees. Any kind of tree, nut tree, fruit tree, that kind of stuff that you don't have to put a lot of effort into every year, every season, and it just, it fruits and gives you food. Just, you just, all you have to do is go out and harvest it. That's awesome. Oh, privacy, yeah, privacy is important, to me anyway. Yeah, I love that idea. Yeah. Okay, Lauren. Yeah, it's great for an individual, that green energy, whatever you want to call it. They call it green shit. That's bullshit. Whatever. I don't care about that. But yeah, it's great for an individual, but on a mass scale, it doesn't work. Lauren is right for pointing that out. Yeah, on a mass scale, the idea is dog shit. But for each individual, but it's so expensive, and it doesn't seem to be coming down, right? We've had solar power. The technology's been around for a long time. Now look at TVs. I remember seeing in a magazine back in the 90s, probably mid to late 90s, the first flat screen TV was a Philips, and it was 10 grand. $10,000 for a flat screen TV. It was probably 40, 50 inch, something like that. Flat screen TV, you could hang it on your wall, just like, okay. Now they improved the technology, found out ways to make them cheaper, and now you can literally go get a better TV than that one, that Philips, a much more advanced TV for $300 at Walmart. Easy. Catch that bitch on sale for $150, $200. Now, why hasn't that happened with the solar? Why hasn't that technology improved like that with the solar? Why isn't that shit dirt cheap? Why can't we get solar panels that are, way vastly superior than the solar panels from the 90s? Why can't we get them for pennies on the dollar like we can with TVs and shit now? Why? Why not? All right. Is there something to that, or maybe I'm just too low on the totem pole, and I'm just ignorant, and I don't understand how all that stuff works. Now and I'm not being sarcastic when I say that. Maybe that is the case. Maybe I'm just ignorant, and I don't understand why they just absolutely could not advance that technology and figure out how to manufacture that shit for the consumer and get it down within our price range. But I don't know. I'm skeptical on shit like that. So they're keeping it priced out of our range on purpose. There's a reason. There's a reason that shit's so expensive when other technologies in the recent past have become easily accessible to the common person. Solar's dirt shit. I don't know about dirt cheap. Shit, you're still gonna spend 15 grand to hook your house up with solar. Easy. That's on the low end. That's if you do all the work yourself. I don't know too many people in my sphere of influence that just have 15 grand to throw around and then the time to do the work themselves. You're talking about hiring a company to do it. You're looking at 30 grand. Yeah, on the cheap end. So, back you could buy a house with that back in the day, what it cost to get solar now. But, that may also be depending on where you live. Because prices vary depending on where you live. Oh, okay, a beer can solar heater? Yeah. There's all kinds of cool ways you can use that stuff. All different things. I've saw one guy do a bunch of mirrors. I saw another one where they took CDs, the CDs, and made a solar array out of that. They hooked the wires to the CDs and shit. That was pretty cool. 10-year-old flat screen. It must be a decent brand, huh? Zombie cider. Yeah, my wife makes a good what is that? Like spice mulled cider. She makes that for us during Christmas. And I love that stuff. Yeah, that shit's good. Yeah, exactly. That's my point, Mac MC. If it was cheap enough for all of us to do it, like all of us have flat screen TVs now. I mean, even people on SNAP benefits and they've got flat screen TVs. Everybody can afford a flat screen TV, but only the fairly well off can afford to put their house on solar. You just can't afford to do that shit unless you work hard and get your credit up and then you want to go 30 grand in debt. You know what I'm saying? Then it's not cost effective because the solar isn't going to save you $30,000 in electric bills before it needs to be updated and replaced and shit and worked on. So it's just not cost effective yet. And why it's taking so long for it to get there, I don't know. I still watch movies. I still watch DVDs, movies, and I watch Saturday morning cartoons. Not on Saturday Saturday mornings too, but I watch them every morning. Well, it's Looney Tunes. Daffy Duck, you're despicable. Moonshine. I've heard that some of that's really good, Mac MC. I don't think I've ever really had authentic moonshine, but I've heard some of it's pretty good. Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's not the carbonated kind of cider. Raziel. Yeah, Samsung. They actually make really solid phones. Yeah, that's the one I'm using now. The last Note. I bought it refurbished. It was just the biggest phone that I could find. I just wanted a real big phone. I got that. I think it's the Note 20. It's the last time they made the Note, and it was just the biggest phone that I could find. But it's still. I've had that thing for like, I think 5 years now, 4 or 5 years now. It still works like a charm. Though, yeah, those Samsung phones are well made. Raziel. Yeah, you can't claim you're innocent, dude. Zombie fire in the hole. Yeah, weed has medical value, dude. Yeah. I just never did. I don't know if y'all have probably heard me say this before, but I never did really build up a tolerancy to that shit. I smoked it my share of times throughout my life, but every time I try it, I just get completely blitzed. I mean, where I'm, non-functional anymore. I'm out of the, if there's a party, I'm no longer taking part in it. If I was watching a movie, I'm no longer watching it. I'm just laying on the couch and staring at the ceiling for the next 6 hours. And that's every time I've ever tried that shit. So I just, it's not fun. I'm just laying there praying for it to end. Please stop. I just want to get back to normal. I should have just had a few beers. I'll never do it again, type of thing. So I just never warmed up to weed. Not that I don't have anything against it. If I had, because I've known so many people who smoke some weed or whatever and just get kind of mellow high, and just kind of, and completely functional. They don't have a problem with it. Go to work like that. Shit. No, not me. No. I don't know what it is, but there's something. And I've smoked it with the same, shared around the same shit with people. They're smoking the same shit I'm smoking at the same time. So it's not like I just got unlucky and got some crazy, gorilla panic, some weed named gorilla panic and everybody else was smoking shake or some shit. No. I'm just smoking the same shit everybody else was, but I just got totally blitzed. So, yeah, I never did really take a shine to weed. But I know so many people who smoke it, and it's just like a normal thing. Oh yeah, I want to get those. I have that in my cart. Loran, yeah, I have that holiday collection in my cart. I got to get it before Christmas. Yeah, yeah. That exact thing, the Peanuts Holiday Christmas. Yeah, I just put that in my cart like yesterday or the day before. Yeah. Yeah. Crusader. That's the last time I tried it, was the edible. And that's another story. This dude at work, he said, "Oh, my uncle makes these cookies, dude. And do you want one?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll try one. Shit. Let me have one." And he said, "Okay, here, but only eat a quarter of it because it's really strong." I said, "All right, dude, sure thing." So he gives me the cookie, and I get home, and I show it to my wife and stuff. "Hey, this dude at work gave me this cookie. I'm finna eat this and chill. Get my, I'm finna get my groove on. And she knows how I am with weed, but it's an edible, so I'm like, I'm gonna try this edible, see how this thing does. So I eat the quarter of a cookie, and I, sitting there watching movie with the wife or whatever, doing something. I forget what I was doing. And like, I sit there and wait like 2 hours. This is after work. I wait like 2 hours or something. I'm like, damn, I don't feel anything. And it was just so I'm going to go ahead and eat another quarter of this cookie. It's like an oatmeal cookie, just tastes like a good cookie. So I eat the quarter, and I wait around for about another 2 hours. And now it's getting to be like 8 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be bedtime pretty quick. I got to go to bed because I got to go to work in the morning. No, maybe it was Friday. So, but anyway, I'm going to bed pretty quick because I'm getting sleepy. So I said, shit, this is some bogus ass shit. The waste of my damn time. I was all hyped up, to get, maybe I was going to get a cool high for the first time on some edibles and shit. I was going to have a blast, and it just was a big nothing burger, a big dud. So I grabbed that bitch just out of spite, I just ate the other half, right? Screw that shit. Stupid ass edibles. So I do that, wait around a few more minutes till the movie's done that I'm watching or whatever, go brush my teeth and shit, and crawl into bed all pissed off, and go to sleep. Well, I wake up at some point during the night. I have no idea what time. I don't know what planet I'm on, literally. I'm not sure which dimension I'm living in right now. I'm trying to figure all this shit out. I'm looking, kind of recognize the structure I'm in, the domicile, the walls and shit look familiar. And I'm sitting here thinking, what the hell? I'm awake, I'm not dreaming. And I'm looking, I'm feeling my fingers and shit. I'm like, what the hell's happening? I'm losing my damn mind, because I was asleep, dude. So I wake up like this, and I wake up and I'm just hammered to dog shit. And I'm like, what the hell? What's happening to me? So I just laid there in like a panic for I don't know how long. I have no idea. It might have literally been 30 seconds till I went back to sleep finally, or it might have been 8 hours. I have no idea. I just laid there, panicked, and staring at the ceiling, trying not to be high anymore. And finally, I fell back asleep. Right, and I woke up the next day. And I was, like, what the, and I'm sober again. I'm like, what the hell happened? Did that really happen? What was that? I'm not real sure that what I think happened actually happened. I was just ripped, dude. Yeah, so needless to say, that was my last edible experience. That shit had me in a panic, man. Holy shit, yeah. So, I don't know if y'all will find it as funny as I found it, but yeah, now that I think back on it, and tell that story, it's just hilarious to me. But I was just blitzed out of my mind. Yeah. Well, the kids are grown. It's just me and the wife. So that's cool. She just, she puts up with my bullshit. Go ahead, eat the cookie. I don't care, Do you? Just don't puke it up. I don't want to clean up any puke or anything. Oh, okay. Tons of weed stores. Yeah, we've got a lot of those, they made it medically legal here in Florida. So you can go there and buy edibles and the tinctures and all the oils and all that stuff. They're just right there, And all you got to do is go down the road and pay that quack like $250 and he'll give you the card Not like he's a real doctor or anything, but he's licensed to do that. So yeah, it's easy to get it now here, but it just costs $250 a year to keep your license or whatever, your prescription filled, and then you have to buy it from one of those approved places. You can't just buy it off the street. You got to buy it from one of those places. Yeah, 1,000 milligrams of what? Of the edibles? I don't know how many milligrams was in that cookie, but that shit was. Oh, weed's legal for everything in New York? Yeah. I think Oregon, I don't know. Oregon, Washington, California, Colorado, and New York are the ones that I'm sure of that it's completely legal. Maybe Arizona and New Mexico too. Yeah, that's how I am, AF. I can't function on that shit. A dispensary, that's what it's called. Who is that? Who said that? Trying to find out who said that. Oh, zombie. Daughter works at a dispensary. Okay. Raised a weed snob. Oh, all right. Dead Wolf Resistance, what's up, dude? You snuck in here, man. Glad to see you here, bro. Yeah. Talking about weed. You know how we roll? Yeah, big country. Yeah. Either that or don't eat that sumbitch at all. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it didn't affect me at all, why it took so long. Because I've done some stuff, like, yeah, I've tripped before, and you know that. You know that going into it, it might take a couple hours for this shit to kick in. So, I was expecting it. But with that, I figured 15, 20 minutes maybe, something like that. But 2 hours into it, I'm sitting here just bored, waiting on it. So, ate a little bit more. It took it didn't even take effect until after I went to sleep. That was what was crazy to me. All right, everybody. I'm gonna call it on this one tomorrow. We got a pretty good. I think y'all will enjoy it. It was pretty fun to make the video that I'm posting tomorrow morning. Laic, just another guy in the woods. He sent me an email with some suggestions on some topics, and really cool. I thought so. Self-reflective stuff, and I liked the points he made, so I made a video on it, and that was the point of the email was inspiration for a video. So he gets credit for the inspiration for tomorrow's video, but it was just some really cool, insightful stuff that he pointed out. So I just I talked about it, and I think y'all will enjoy it. So check that out tomorrow. I think it's going to be a pretty cool one. I think y'all will like it as much as I enjoyed making it. So a little bit different, a little different twist on it, but I think it'd be a really fun video. So be sure and check that out. And other than that, the next we'll keep doing this. Our 2 days a week. We'll do 2 live streams each day, so Tuesdays and Thursdays. So our next live streams will be Thursday Thursday morning and then Thursday evening. But I'm enjoying that. I think that's working out pretty well. Even I mean, I was late for today's a little bit, but still enough of y'all showed up. I was worried that y'all might not even show up, because I was so late. I was 40 minutes late. But it turned out good, so we all got to hang out and talk about some cool shit. So I still had a blast, even though it was almost an hour later than I normally do. So thank y'all for showing up. Thank you to Dead Wolf Resistance, Raziel, AF, Mr. Hurst, Zombie Man, God's Warrior, Jennifer Andrews, Crusader Survivor, Mac MC, Shannon. Who else we got here? Electronic Music Underground. Was Big Country here? Yeah, Big Country was here. Yep. Metal Gear. We had a couple of newer call signs here too. I'm trying to find them. Laura Ann. Mountain Old Timer. Old Man. Did I say Old Man already? Satan Wolf. Alright. I think there was somebody else, a newer person who showed up, and I'm trying to find their name, but I scrolling through here. But anyway, I like to say goodbye to everybody. Mac MC. If I did not say your name, you'll have to forgive me, but goodbye to you as well. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate the hell out of it. We have a good time on our live streams, shooting the shit with our fellow Gen Xers. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. And if you want to become a member of Gen X Thinks and get your name on the banner down there, I'll leave that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. I appreciate everybody who supports the channel in that way. Thank you so much for doing that. It means a hell of a lot to me. And let's see. Oh, if you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff. T-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. But I'll leave that link down in the description too, for any of you who are interested. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments. Or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.